hoped to beat. Like, I think that's been the problem. Like, okay, they beat a Giant X, they beat a Koi. I'm not really impressed just yet, but I'm intrigued. Bringing in the Yoru, especially up against a strong Cypher like Benjamin Fish, I think that could be a direct counter. But we're going to have to wait and see for the attack, because for now, it's a defensive side Yoru on a map that's not commonly played.
Yeah, there could be some drawbacks to it, but Nats doing well to start this out. Picking up the first, but falling after just one. And that's going to leave them in a tough position on Team Liquid, having to pull back, waiting for a long flank coming out of Mystic and potentially Kiko as well. That plant should go down without too much contention, just some pot shots here or there. And it's more so in the next couple seconds, the decision on where Heretics take it. They've decided to move things in this direction. Trap destroyed. They know there's one player, and they're propped up ready for the fight on the back of the flash. Nicely handled, but Mystic already down, drawn into battle by the players back in main. That's a very clean post plant from Heretics. Now they just got to stop the defuse.
Yeah, that's the thing. From this point onwards, it becomes so difficult for Liquid, needing almost a hero play. The Mosh is going to create an awkward position, but it's not going to be enough. It will be the kickoff for the side of Heretics, opening up that pistol. And I think you're already going to see like why we're so excited for Wu. Like, I know that there's a lot of fans who maybe didn't watch much of the Tier 2, and maybe you did watch some of the like events in the off-season, and you kind of went, well, yeah, Heretics with Wu didn't look that good. But this kid has been someone that has been exciting for a good couple of years. Like, even playing on the Fireflux of before, they were fantastic, and a lot of it was down to this man's individual ability. If you enjoyed watching Mini Boo, in the Tier 2, Woot was better. That's all I'm going to say. He was. We just have to wait and see if he can now match up to that.
Well, that's it. We've seen a lot of players on this stage start to, you see the jitters come through, and a very young guy like Woot, it's definitely within the danger zone for that to come through.
Did you see him in the pistol where he pop flash out around the corner?
His pistol's already good, playing as part of the team. No surprise on the KO. He's certainly played that quite a bit in the past. Talking about the fire flux back in the day, but also the interesting thing about Woot was that he has a very expansive agent pool. When we were looking at most players, who tends to be someone who's clearly leading the way in terms of agents played. This guy is happy to fill whatever the team needs, and while they're going to need a hero this time, they've already lost one player, and Team Liquid are grouped up looking to deny any further weapons being carried through. Boo tagged up low, and those rifles now in the danger zone. We'll see how many players survive on the side of Heretics, if they can even keep the round.
Yeah, it's all about damage for the side of Liquid, but with a man advantage already, there's definite opportunities. As you said, the sort of danger guns are in play, but I always get a little bit nervous when there's Guardians on the other side. A few missed shots here and there, and those pistols can close the gap. They've still got them, at least for now. And while for the remaining players, it may just be a case of going down to that spike, making sure no extra orbs are gained, and for Heretics, they recover quite well. Only the couple of players lost.
Yeah, just 2 down, 3 rifles still carried through to the next round. Disaster most certainly averted, and a good start to the map for Heretics. With 2-0 under their belt, rifles come out, and we get to see some of these ideas now from Team Liquid, because like you say, Tom, there's some ideas there that could be directed at taking down the Cypher play from Team Heretics and making them uncomfortable on their defensive side, but right now, Team Liquid are on the defense themselves. And so making it work in a rifle round like this, is this somewhere I expect to see Kiko taking a couple extra risks with aggressive Yoru play? Or do they sit back and just see what Heretics are playing at?
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be some setups around that sort of avenue. You can already see Dizzy thrown out just for information, but a passive position held by Boo. And that is now going to be just an aggressive spot held from Kiko. Now, of course, for now at least, he has that ability to teleport back. But for Heretics, this is much more going to be like a push and probe. Look to try and see if they can find any early fights, if anybody's going to give them anything. Because you do have to bear in mind, this bonus has some real legs to it. You've still got the Guardians, but everyone else is running alongside with that Vandal.
The real danger is Boo up top. The fact that, I mean, he can't push up without making some noise at least. But if Kiko did go for that aggressive stance, he could be in trouble. Now here comes the drone. That's going to guarantee no further aggression from defensive side as they take a step back. But Heretics aren't set on it just yet. It's all part of the push and the pull of the map. Some HP taken off Mini Boo. He's down to 32. Not going to be too easy to slide into those angles now. It looks like they have set their eyes on this A site, and that means all the pressure will be on Kiko. He could just back out after spotting them initially, Tom. He's just peeking a pixel, but that's his choice. Let's see where he takes it.
Yeah, his TP's gone, so it will just be him walking away. And the read from Liquid in this early round has been wrong. the stack up was on the other side, but it does look like they're playing more for the retake rather than anything else. Although saying that, Kiko's still trying to hold some pretty aggressive positioning, a strong dart to at least help him out, but it's only going to be a trade. I guess they're trying to deny this plant as much as possible, and that's exactly what Yumpy will do. He's dropped that spike on the ground. Somebody needs to get on it now, and they're not going to be able to. The timer is gone. Yumpy's won them around on his own.
Unbelievable display from Liquid. Insult to injury with Boo going down on his aggressive stance in the end, and an attempt to pick up another orb for Mini Boo denied by the timer. That is maybe the expected result coming in, although considering Heretics had full rifles, I wouldn't say that necessarily carries weight. Seeing a 2-1, not a terrible surprise, but my God, the way that went down. Time and running through the mosh pit from Yumpy, ballsy decision, and one that they just weren't expecting. I'm assuming, obviously, that was Enzo's down, so he's taken a lot less damage on the way through, and just a small blind spot from Heretics that gets exploited.
You see a lot of teams doing that, basically just running through their own util. This is the change, though. Heretics have always had these really explosive attack sides with Mini Boo at the helm. Now, we had a quiet week last week, but my expectation is that will not carry through into this one. He's been one of the best duelists in the league so far.
Looking at consistency, you really can't imagine it's going to be the same thing again and again. Now, ult already online for Woot as they look to take the A site. The knife alongside the ulti taking away a lot of the abilities here. Team Liquid having to do it with just the rifles in hand, and the paranoia perfect with Mini Boo sliding in and securing the site. The plant goes down, and it looks like they'll wait out this KO ultimate. Utility on Team Liquid looking okay for the way through on Mystic and Enzo, but they're going to have to pack one hell of a punch to get this one done with Heretics really hunkered down.
Yeah, it's definitely looking problematic now. Losing a player before you get into the retake's always going to be tough. Again, though, this player in the corner is caught. Flash a little bit delayed, but Yumpy's doing well. He looks like the retake king. The problem is his teammates falling all around him. Benji with a late lurk through the back, and now Mystic. Again, looked solid last week, but winning from here is going to be pretty damn tough. Nobody peeking. Cam even thrown out late into the round just to make sure that he can't be defusing. And in the end, he's just going to try and fade away, but Benji is waiting. Clinical to close him out. Immediate response from Heretics.
And Los Niños off to a fantastic start with their 3-1. A little shaky, a little unconventional round 3, but they're right back on the horse. And with that, they've crushed Team Liquid's economy. Big round with that paranoia. Yeah. We saw it used up there again in the replay, and how quickly Mini Boo is able to dive on top of them after. It's very hard to deal with that.
I think the thing that I'm a little bit worried about just early on is that I'm looking at Liquid are playing a retake A setup, but it looks like Kiko is not. Like, the rest of the team are playing outside, waiting, and he is in there every single time. And if he gets killed, if he gets 2, that's fine. If he dies immediately like that, the rest of the team have to play for a deficit. And you can see 1 extra kill there, that might have made all the difference.
I think probably he was expecting to be able to get out of there with the gate crash, right? I didn't note if he had one online at the time, but as soon as that ultimate comes in from Woot, that's ruled out, and the guy is just trapped. I like the idea to get aggressive with the pistols, try to take some uncouth fights, but, well, they have met a deadly duo holding the angle. The A site now off limits for the defenders, and they'll go pushing elsewhere, but Heretics are very patient. We talk a lot about the defaulty early rounds that we see out of these attack side teams. No different here on Sunset, as we can see that map control taken, pick found, and now Heretics once again group up and look to take this late round together as a team, not looking to be isolated and drop to these pistols. They've got free reign over B side.
Well, this is the thing I really like about this map for Team Heretics is I think Boo calls a great game in terms of the switch up of pace. Like, you have this Neon, you have these explosive plays, you have one of the best entry fraggers in the league, but sometimes you play it nice and slow. And it's very difficult for Liquid to know, okay, do we utility dump right at the early round to try and take some space, deny you, or do we sort of play back expecting you to run at us? It's just tough. So for now, obviously this round, expectations minimal to nothing. Like, if they get 2 kills here, I think Liquid have done a great job, but that's going to be easier said than done.
I think, again, you have to look at the players alive, even Mystic Nats. It's not worth them even going down to another player. The spike will do it just fine. Yumpy already has his ult online, so not looking to do too much there. Damage and taking away a weapon was the primary goal. Well, more so the secondary goal. Primary goal, go down to that spike in the end, and it looks like they have achieved that. Success with flying colors. Nice and easy. 4th round, though, secured for Team Heretics. All 5 players left alive. That is a worrying sign, but they were only pistols on Team Liquid, right? It's okay. Heretics get to build up a little bit of bank. They don't have to invest too much, but if Liquid let it slip here, Tom, this could very quickly spiral.
Yeah, and I think as well, even though last week we saw BBL, who definitely have had a huge resurgence, managed to beat Heretics on this map. I think prior to that, you're looking at them with wins over Vitality, Sentinels, Carmine Corp, Na'Vi. Like, this has been a really good map for Heretics. And okay, sure, lost to PaperX as well, but I think we can forgive that one. It was a great map for PaperX in their run at Madrid. So I think it was always going to be tough for Liquid. I want to see what response they have. And straight away, you're going to see an immediate use. I don't know if that was blind, but Rians has just taken out Nats. That leaves this B side so open.
Well, he headshot him with the second pull, so nice and easy. Lucky almost. I didn't think it'd hit. And the return, not quite so lucky. Nothing found on the side of Team Liquid as Heretics claim a free pick, site control, a plant that's very difficult to deny. When you come in as defenders, defusing that is a death sentence. Well, they're just going to smoke themselves off. Look at that, Benji allowing the decoy to go by. Deep flash, that tells you Benji's not here, but Enzo's ready for it anyways. First is found. But here's where we get to see the difficulty that comes along with defusing. Now the spike is out in a bit of a corner that does give a wider angle to work with. Nice thrash through, player in the corner detained, but Rienz goes in for 3. The defuse is only half, and that's not close enough. 5 rounds for Team Heretics, and Team Liquid looking down in the dumps to start out Sunset.
Yeah, I think you're seeing most of the opening kills go the way of Heretics, which is definitely helping them out with these post-plant scenarios. But then it's also just their sort of adaptations. I do think that that flash maybe wasn't supposed to completely blind Benji as he was up close. That was maybe a bit of a miscall. And that's actually one of the only worries I really have for Woot. On an individual level, I have no doubt he's going to be as good as anyone else in the league, if not better. It's whether he has the same supportive utility as Padatek, because that's something I think that he was very good at, especially in their run to get to Madrid. The util that Padatek was throwing was fantastic.
The team needs, and for a young player, one with so much individual potential, that's rare. You are going to find a lot of players, especially early in Valorant, that they just want to do one thing. They want to play that duelist.
Jet.
And Jet was the one. Jet was the problem. Looking at you, Hoodie. But there are lots of people doing it.
Looking at you, old Vitality.
Oh, okay. Well, that was because they couldn't lock 5 Jets.
We have signed 5 Jet players. It doesn't seem to be working.
Who would have thought? Our Jet players not a good support.
Much better now. I'll give them that. Much better now.
Yeah, they've done well. They absolutely have. So have Team Heretics, a turnaround from back in the day. Maybe for a while, back to the form of back in the day. But I'm not sure you'll ever bring back the level they achieved in First Strike.
Yeah.
Hard to reach again.
We won't go into that.
No, we'll shelf that one.
Either way, though, this needs to be now Liquid finding a response. The streak of rounds for Heretics, their credits are starting to get to a point of no return. They've got themselves a few ults online, although maybe not the most high-impact ones. And thus far, I'm not really seeing the value of that Yoru. Now, I expect more on the attack.
100%.
But if there's no value on the defense, we have a problem.
Well, that's it. Right now, Kikyo, no gate crashes to work with, so mobility's a little limited. Has his ult. Difficult to use without a gate crash. Sometimes you gotta commit fully, or just use it as the recon. The slow push through on mid has caught them off. I didn't think Heretics would be giving up this position so quickly, but of course, only one of them has the ability to transition to the B site quite this quickly. Plant comes through. And on the side of Heretics, they want to recover that advantage with Miniboo's aggression, but he's being caught in a bit of an awkward spot. Those reveals giving them everything, and Kiko now committing to the ult. He's put down the decoy and bought himself the space. His teammates coming in from the off angle and defending this spike now is a tough task for anyone to manage. Boo is the last one standing, looking to avenge his fallen brother, and he'll not even get a shot off. Team Liquid are back on the board. It's late, but it's not too late. 5-2.
No, I like the way they played this round. Like, the aggression into mid got them a lot of information, allowed for a quick rotation, but more importantly, just having that advantage. Especially in these sort of scenarios, I think the util that they put through to get them that extra information, I think that's been one of the things so far that has been kind of interesting is they've been able to walk into Nats' site or find Nats without too many problems. So the fact that this round, they basically walked into all of the traps, they got hit by all of the darts, it gave a lot of info, plus that ultimate. Even still, though, plenty more to be desired. And as said, no problems for the side of Heretics to buy up again.
I'm out of here.
Quick dash in. That was almost a chance. Mystic is down as quick as you like. And, you know, it's ambitious. I'll always applaud players taking outside the box a little bit. But, well, Miniboo's not going to be caught off by that. This is a big round to risk those kind of plays in, Tom. Somewhere Team Liquid come in already. Man disadvantage and low HP on Enzo and Yuppie down. but they had rifles. They had their economy on its last legs, and wow, what a strange way to approach the early round.
It was just so... I can only assume he thought that he hit him with the paranoia, so that him pushing was really risky, but to just try and TP into that corner, when you know it's Miniboo, like, you know he's going to be in your face, you know he's going to be as far forward as possible, and, like, Mystic definitely expected that play, because there was a pot flash over the top, he counters with paranoia, and then he TPs forward, and it's just, yeah, a gamble, and that gamble didn't even remotely pay off. That's probably the freest opening I think Miniboo's had in a long, long time. And he also didn't have any support.
That's the thing that gets me, Tom. You know, if there's another player there, it makes sense. The trap's worked out for Nats, claimed him a kill in a second as well. Who knows? If the trap wasn't there, that might have went down differently. But instead, some damage is done. At the end of the day, though, it's not anything noteworthy for the side of Heretics. No. They have got plenty of cash to throw at this, and removing another rifle from Team Liquid is all that they cared about. This buy is going to be pretty miserable from that defensive side, and so far they've struggled even with the best of buys.
But that's the thing, it's like the extra peek there, I actually find, like, yeah, so he's trying to get away. I'm just surprised the TP's forward. That's the thing that surprises me a little bit there, but I guess it's just one of those panic moments that you go, okay, I've got to get out of the stuff.
If it worked, if Miniboo was hit by that, if he did slide in, if the TP was a little deeper so Miniboo doesn't see it on the way through, we'd be singing his praises. A god-tier player, huge play, but it didn't work. This time, though, doubling up. Not going to have the paranoia to work with off rip, but it's sent in a little bit later.
It's the same result.
Yeah, exactly the same thing occurs. One player dead for Team Liquid, and Team Heretics sat on a default, sit back with map control, and have a little smile on their face. So plenty of time.
Just to note, in the last series that they played versus BBL, Miniboo had 21 kills. We are in round 9. He already has 10. So I think it might be a different week for him. I think he's performing. Also, he came up against what looked like prime Kushner, which that's always scary. It's always scary when that guy's in his element. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. Again, though, like, just think about how many openings. I think I can think of one opening kill that has gone the way of Team Liquid. They have 2 rounds on the board. It really isn't going well for them, and they're going to have to try and play from a deficit again, with a lot of their utility already gone. It's only really Enzo that has anything left.
Decent wall bang by Mystic. You had all of that utility used from Heretics to clear this site and confirm that it wasn't being spotted from, but spams through the smoke. Ultimately, what claim the kills and the emerging from the cage. They are all caught. Oh, wow. 3 quick kills in the round is sorted just like that. The question is, can Enzo get exits? Because a 1v4 is too much to ask of almost any player. And he won't get the first even, running into Rian. 7 rounds on the board for Team Heretics. This is their map pick, and, well, it's showing right now.
Yeah, I almost feel like this pause may end up just being how do we not die to Miniboo within the first 5 seconds of the round? Because the thing is, I don't even feel like they're changing a massive amount. They're throwing a pot flash, he's going for a face, there's a dart over the top, sometimes there's a paranoia, they take the same fight, they win it. So for Heretics, you're going, yeah, keep doing that. Keep doing that. If someone's going to face you each time in a different way, Miniboo's probably going to win that duel, and if he doesn't, there'll be someone there to trade. Whereas for Liquid,
again and again, no need to change it now, but that's a pause for Liquid. And they're going to come in with some new ideas, hopefully, but not a lot to execute them with, Tom, with the pistols. Now, I said you're not going to have 4 players in the A side, Tom. They do this time, but it's
you might as well. An immediate paranoia, though. It's going to slow down Miniboo. Result still the same. At this time, you can kind of forgive it a little bit more because it's just against pistols, but he's not losing this fight. You can put as many people in his way as you want. Miniboo goes, elbow, Miniboo gets kill.
It's insane. He's on 14 HP at least. But I don't think we're even close to having a conversation about economical damage on the side of Heretics. There's 2 rounds left to play for. They have got the cash.
The Benji has 7,300 and Wu has 7,000, and they're going to get more at the end of the round.
And has ult, and yeah, there's...
Yeah. It's not particularly close. But again, it is just the same setup. The Heretics rinse and repeat, but it works. And that's the thing. When you have a youngster like Miniboo in your team who can execute that kill 9 times out of 10, and then the second guy is Wu, who, I'll be honest, thus far hasn't needed to do that much because plan A has worked. He's got 10 assists. I reckon 5 of them are from that same flash.
Well, 8 of them were in the first, like, 5 or 6 rounds. The guy hasn't had a chance to support his team because it's like, okay, Miniboo take contact, 3 dead, okay. Or 1 dead, reset, flash out onto a site that's already clear. And then in the post plant, they got all the kills.
Then in the post plant, he's like, knife foul.
They're not there, guys. Great. That's what he's had to do. He's playing his role, and his role's kind of boring right now because they're just winning cleanly. You're gonna have to say for the side of Team Liquid, you know, you have Bind up next, your map pick. Maybe we can see some more energy out of that side there, but the reality is, this map, they need a big turnaround, but they had the pause. And Eco has gone by. Didn't go too well, but it is what it is. This is what they will have discussed in the pause. Let's see what the adjustments are.
4 again.
It's still 4 players on A. Can they deal with Mini Boo this time? Surely
there
they can. There it is! Opening pick for Team Liquid. Hunter's Fury chasing them down, and it's traded out. Flash is good. Turn the players' eyes away for a moment, and that is a disaster. Enzo got the one. That player's brought right back up, and the whiff behind leaves them with nothing to fall back on. A devastating display from Team Liquid as Team Heretics.
That was what I wanted to see as well.
Yeah.
Just having the player on short to re-peek afterwards and catch them. I can't. I'll be honest. I can't believe Heretics did it again. Just so you know, I can't believe that they've just gone towards this elbow position. Like, what was it, 4 rounds in a row? They've gone for the same fight, and this time Miniboo dies immediately, and they still get out with 4 players.
That's it.
I don't know.
This was the B plan.
Wrap this one up.
The B plan was still to go here. If Miniboo gets a kill, we go there. If Miniboo dies, we go there without him, and we trade him out. And it's worked, and that first kill, beautiful, sure, but...
The Hunter's Fury definitely made things more disjointed, but it's this in the... There's 2 players behind, yeah. And no one was looking in that direction. And so there had to be something there. That is just Team Liquid whiffing. That's all you could put that down to. Because they had the right setup, the right play, they had the right utility. Just need to shoot people in head. And unfortunately, that was the part that failed. They're still going this way.
He's blinded and eventually taken down. Kiko's having a rough day. Let's hope it warms. Well, never mind. He's not going to warm up now. Lying dead and cold on the floor. So is everyone else. Again, they've killed Miniboo, and it's just been overrun. Yup, he's got to get out. Oh, there's a shock dart kill to even up the numbers. It might even be winnable with the shot through the smoke. Woot. Down and out, but no return.
And it's solo. It's the solo play. Nats tries to chase down that kill and instead ends up giving another 1v1. And Benji wins it from a position that they actually managed to turn it to winnable. Now just comes down to a 1v2 for Yumpy. Now, one of the rounds they've won already was based off him forcing Heretics to lose to time. See if he can do anything in this scenario. The problem is, look how passive the remainder are. He's got to try and clear Nye on everything. They're waiting to see if he rotates around the flank because, of course, you're going to play your post plants from this position. Just look to bait out that time, a smoke to even section off an angle, and you can see Yumpy is trying to clear every single angle that is possibly available to him, but at this point, that timer is going to start ticking down. They know it as well as we do that he's going to be towards that spike. Boo almost giving things away, but it doesn't matter. He wins the duel anyway. A 10-2 Heretics, as said last week, definitely didn't go to plan. But this is looking like a different beast.
It absolutely is, Tom. 10 rounds on the attack side. Say what you will about this setup and how it could perform at getting behind Benji, making his life awkward, all those sort of points we made earlier, it kind of goes out the window. Kiko's had one of the worst halves that we've seen from him in terms of potential, in terms of whiffs as well. Like, yeah, this has been a rough start. And if you imagine the sides turning and it changing, that's a tight turnaround, man. Maybe they'll get the ball rolling, and I think the real hope for me, Tom, is that they can get that ball rolling enough that they pick up some speed, some momentum coming into Bind, because right now it looks like Heretics are just a better squad after that first half.
Yeah, you don't see many teams lose from 10-2 up.
Right. Don't see many teams make those comebacks either, Tom.
No, that's true. Maybe Liquid can be on the other side of the coin this time around, but they've got a lot to do. And they're up against, as I said, I think a very competent Sunset team. I'm not surprised, even after losing it last week, that Heretics have been happy to come back into this map, especially one that we haven't seen Liquid play since kickoff. And that was a narrow victory. Oh no, sorry, a narrow loss to Koi. So they've got themselves in an afterplan, a position that's definitely winnable, and they need this pistol.
That they absolutely do. The aggression hasn't worked out with Kiko falling as well. Down goes Nats, and like dominoes, these players one by one. Starts with the first, and now we're left with the last. Just Mystic, 1 versus 3, spamming through his smoke, but those bullets come right back at him, and the defuse is in with a little bit of time to spare. Another pistol found. Heretics 11-2 up. And it's difficult to imagine the comeback without that pistol. A force buy, almost inevitable.
Wu has 17 assists now. Like, it's just going up and up. Like, I feel like this round was basically just him, like, just running around. We know exactly what this guy could do at an individual level. As said, thus far in the match, it wasn't really needed, but I genuinely think he's got most of those assists from just throwing that same pot flash out on
I think you're right.
elbow. I think it's just, hey, this assist thing's really easy. Just keep throwing this flash.
I love playing KO.
Well, a leaf out of their opponent's book is going to be a push in the direction of elbow. Yeah, it's weird. He's ecoed everyone else's force ball.
Yeah, you don't see that every day. I'll tell you that. He's gone for another flash assist. That one hasn't quite panned out. Team Liquid a little slower on taking the space. Not the normal carry on whenever you see these lighter weapons, but it might bait Heretics into taking some over-aggressive peaks. Perhaps that's the hope. You see them waiting for a flash to come through, playing behind the walls to swing right after. Well, he's out of flashes, so that's not going to happen. No point of contact there. Finding space here. Difficult challenge. Heretics are ready for it. They were thinking about re-aggressing. They've decided not to. And they'll just keep, oh no, now the re-aggression is coming in off the paranoia. They see nothing. This could be where the trap is finally sprung with much patience, but not much reward. Okay, Nats gets 2, but look how low those players are that remain. And at 11-2, we're not talking about damage. You gotta win the round. They have to pull this back from this position, and okay, Enzo does well to drop Brienne's, but still 2 more to go. Still the spike to be planted.
Well, these two as well are the safe pair of hands, aren't they? There's Boo and Benji. You can't see them making mistakes. I don't think he has anywhere near enough time to run to the B side. He's just trying to clear some of these positions, but in the meantime, they're aggressing. It's a little bit disjointed, but it doesn't even matter. Boo wins that fight anyway. 12-2. Close to an incredibly dominant map for Team Heretics, and I do think after this one, it might be back to the drawing board for Liquid in their sunset.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, Tom. You might be coming in with some fresh ideas next time around because, well, this has been fast and fresh. That's what it's all about. And for Heretics, look, you can see it in how they win that previous round. There's barely an emotion to be seen on that stage. At this point, it's just another day at the office. 12-2. Barely a hiccup on this map so far, and now the chance to close it out. Another mixed bag of buys because Team Liquid force bought previous round. Nats is able to get a rifle thanks to his eco at least. But that's about where the positives start to fall off. And I actually see Nats going for an individual play. If he goes down, this rifle is lost. And look at the setup from Heretics. They're so ready for this. One player A, they've got a setup on B to cover each angle, and they're double stacked on the single place. Team Liquid are thinking about sending it. In fact, as the smoke fades, that's Nats going forward and right into the waiting arms of Mini Boo. No chance to recover that weapon without a lot of risks being taken. And while this is a death sentence.
Mystic was set up to throw out a paranoia, but it never got thrown. So then he ends up getting caught by the dart because he's setting up a paranoia. This seems so messy at the moment from Liquid. And we're just fighting one by one. The trades have not gone too badly. They've done a lot of damage, but even still, they've taken so much in return. A 3v4, I don't know, I think we just go on to the next one.
You have to. Yeah, mentally, that's where we're at. Let's see if the Liquid can pull us back in. 10 rounds in a row, 4v3, low HP on 2 players, not even rifles to play with, just the one. Big play needed by Enzo. Big mistake needed by Team Heretics, and it's not going to happen. The first is found. Elbow spotted, taken down. Now 4v1 with 25 HP, and the last shot finally finds its mark. That is a 13-2.
Even in the last map, I don't think they had to play even close to their skill ceiling to beat Liquid. So I'm now looking at Liquid and going, are you going to turn up today? Like, are we going to see Kiko hopefully play much better on the Raze? I think it's a more comfortable pick for him, but it looks like they're going to be challenged almost immediately, as already it will be the force back as Heretics have to fall back.
A little bit of map control fought for Mystic on the Harbor. Didn't have a great debut here, but we've heard a lot of good things about it in scrims and in compositions. This is a tactic they've practiced. Enzo's been isolated with the spike. The rest of the team had teleported, and the man left behind had the most important piece of the puzzle. Now Liquid have to go to the other side of the map. It's quite a trek all the way over here.
Liquid?
And, well, they have to fight B-Long against pretty much the entirety of Heretics. Not ideal, Tom,
No,
to start with.
I would say as far from ideal as you could probably get.
Suboptimal.
Yeah.
This is not going to be easy for them to retrieve. And I think they're almost going to have to win the round before they get that spike back.
Yeah, probably. And I think they've made the right call here as well, splitting in towards Hookah so they can at least dive out and Team Liquid can crunch these players on long, but this is something Heretics are aware of. They're not silly. Rienz is left behind to watch this, and so a bit of a challenge for him. Already, though, they've caught the player up in the air. Looks like Kiko will hold on to life, but the rest of Team Liquid are the ones that are falling before Kiko gets isolated. And sure, they've got the spike back, and they can run it over to A. But look, Tom, with 4 players alive,
Benji.
they've already got someone waiting. Benji just around the corner with 14 seconds left. That should be the round cemented. In fact, if Mystic won this one, we would have to take him off the stage.
Yeah, he would need some pretty impressive mechanics / gaming chat to be able to pull that one off. But no, it's going to be another 3K for Woot in a pistol, and that is a pistol round that I'm almost certain Liquid will want to forget. And as I said, like that's the worry I have. It's not even down to whether or not Heretics are going to play to like the best of their ability, or whether Woot is going to be good enough. Like it's literally after that first map, Liquid are going to show up, because that's again just another catastrophic error within 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, I think for my mental health, I was coming in saying, you know what, Team Liquid will just bounce out playing the normal game. That was a hiccup. They made some adjustments to counter Heretics that didn't work out, that we couldn't really see the idea behind on the desk. And well, yeah, you couldn't see the execution behind it either. Now, they come into a map that they're ready for, comps they're ready for, and they should be on their 2 feet stably. Well, that was about as unstable of a start to a map as you can see with the spike drop. Now, they've got pistols to try and make this work up against the big guns. And then round 3, that's where we get back into the real meat and potatoes of the game. For Liquid, they've done well to isolate some close range angles, but again, the problem is Team Heretics have won every duel that they've gone for, looking into the previous map, and they're not taking these fights alone.
Yeah, they've been good in these scenarios.
Scanning ahead.
Trading effectively, not taking too many very risky fights. And while for now at least it's just going to be down to Mystic, even a kill here would be nice. Just try and do some form of damage. And well, he is going to be able to take out 2. Very nicely done. On to just 4 HP, so you have to think that's all she wrote. All right, Boo, they're just predicting exactly where he's going to go. But honestly, in a 1v5, he's done well there.
Yeah, I mean, he did well, sure. But we need so much more for Team Liquid before we can start writing home about them. This is a round that carries a lot of weight with it, Tom, because the snowball of the previous map starts to come into play. If this was map 1, do I expect to see Spike isolated, that kind of chaos on B-Long? Well, no, I don't expect to see that anytime, to be honest. But you can understand, after such a devastating beginning, things can be shaky. And Team Liquid need to get right back on that horse here and now. As we said, rifles coming through, but Team Heretics have some ideas of early aggression. 3 players off B, long, fast flashes. They compete for this orb, and Boo grabs 1 for free on Kiko. After all those spams coming in, a lot of the damage is going to be healed back up by Woot. And no surprise to anyone, it's another very successful early round for Team Heretics.
Yeah, similar to the last map. They've got that opener, and now it has to be Liquid trying to fight back. Now, at least they do still have some weaponry advantages. Benji is left with just a pistol to play with. Guardians, Bulldogs, it's still slightly favored, but with personnel on the other side. Miniboo also now has his ultimate as well, so he could use that just to try and get some extra information. And that walk, look how many players already here. This is very telegraphed. That information is going to be grasped as they spot pretty much every single player. It's only the lurk on the other side that could cause them problems. And they've already managed to deny that plant. It's going to have to be a fight back in. And Miniboo actually still got one there.
I don't know how, coming out of his ult that quickly. They know there's 2 players towards mid. They're not sure about Bat, though. That could be the element of surprise for Nats, as he's already dropped Benji Fishy. And that space to plant the spike finally achieved. That wave wall disappearing. And now the Reckoning comes into play. It's barely even needed, though. Woot's pulsing body is all that it gives away, as he'd already been dropped. A clean way back through for Team Liquid. Even after losing the opening pick, that's more of what we wanted to see.
Yeah, I think a better mid-round from them. Just being able to adapt on the fly. The timing of them pushing the smokes was pretty good as well to be able to take some of those fights, but it is the first round on a road to many. And even then, there still looked like there were moments where that could have easily slipped in the other direction. of course, for Heretics. Still going to be coming in with the purchase here. By the looks of it, we might even get an attack side outlaw. I wonder if the attempt here is going to be to fight B long. It does look like that's where Enzo is starting, just because that has been a real pressure point already, and we're just heading into round 4.
Well, the default spread by Team Liquid almost got exploited. I see Miniboo walking down back. He made a couple of steps as well, and Nat's actually heard them, so he's gone back. This is delaying the attack slightly, but they're just looking for opportunities. That wall that's up towards A meant to rob them of info, but Team Heretics are grouping up on it right now. 3 players around that spot. Contemplating the TP crunch that's now come through. Kiko down and out, and the immediate gate crash means that Miniboo's ready to fight on A, so they kind of quicken the pace to take advantage of those teleported players, and even dropping Benji. Now they might think the site is clear, or at least much lighter in defense. Miniboo's opportunity to strike once that wave wall goes down again.
Spike planted.
But there's a few seconds left on it, and he's just tucking away, keeping the space.
I think with an advantage already held, didn't really need to aggress, but it has gone down. Levels things for Liquid. Looking like another scenario where Heretics could just work off their advantages, but that fight has given things back into a winnable occasion. And very passive holds as well. It does make it a little bit easier, though, for them to isolate one of these fights. The spam isn't really going to be the bigger problem for Heretics here. It's mainly those afterplants in terms of utility, and there's still snake bites to go. Nats, though, is left all on his lonesome, and he's just sticking that defuse all the way. He's managed to just get it while he was going on. It looked like it was going to be a round for Liquid, but instead it's gone the other way.
Well, even in the rounds that seem set up for victory, Tom, it can always fall apart, and that snake bite not chipping away enough damage. The wide angle on the defuse, this was beautiful. Not just the play through the teleporter, but the TP back, and they didn't get the reward for it. Very nicely punished by Mystic, but in the end, it comes down to these duels that leave Nats in such an awkward position to try to get that done.
It's so close.
You can see, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get a timer on that one, but it was incredibly close. Even if he fired the second he saw him. 3-1. Yeah. Round 5 sees pistols, or a pistol in the hands of Enzo, but they're still able to muster some rifles across the board. Heretics have some weaknesses, so to speak, but sometimes those are strengths on a map like this. The judge on Benji Fishy in particular.
Especially with him being able to potentially get a kill and just fall back. You have to hope there's going to be something sent in. Are they just going to try and walk this? It's not going to be easy for him to get away with anything. In fact, it's okay, an interesting spike position. It's got caught in the wall. They should be able to retrieve it.
Floating in the air. Well, luckily no longer. It's come back down to earth. Spike retrieved, but damage done to Mystic will linger later on into the round, and the drone coming through spots them. Good information to play with. Seekers doubling up to cement the positions of these players in case that drone didn't see them. Gate crash from Miniboo sent out towards the A site. He can play up into heaven later on, and that is a big benefit for this squad, being able to hunker down on the site they expect the take to come in and then rotate later. And the push, as we can see, is on its way. The mosh on site will force them into some awkward positions. Wood has to swing wide, but still free from this position, single-handedly stopping the push of Liquid. And with 30 health left on Mystic, I don't think he's going for this one.
It's the Turkish aim. He is the truth. He is the promised. Like, the one this man is able to do. We just said it at the beginning of the game. Like, in terms of raw ability, he's the player from the tier 2 that everyone wanted, and it's just headshot after headshot for Woot. Absolute filth on his first day of the stage, and he's 9-2.
This is the thing, Tom. What was Liquid's idea here? Okay, mosh pit over the top. It lands on site. You know the player inside has to peek you. If anything, if we had their comms, I think that's the call. He has to peek. He has to peek. Sure, he does, but he ain't going to lose those fights. Absolutely gorgeous. And a special shout out to Rienz as well, combining beautifully with the recon to give that extra information. No doubt that helped out in the third kill that we saw. The fourth, sheer ridiculous confidence out of Woot. 9-2.
The sort of strength of what was Turkey, even if the expectation was there. But it's so good to see him on this stage, and it's so good to see exactly what he could do. Crisp headshots to give them that round, and now, wow. They said last round they managed to at least get a buy on the board. Liquid are in much more trouble this time out. Sure, they have an ult or two, but they've already tanked the shock dart. I think Kiko's almost dead. He's not even seen anyone.
Yeah.
So's Yumpy.
he was bitten by a few things, not just the shock dart, but even the Trailblazer comes up after. So all the information is there to play with. Team Heretics have a problem brewing, and then players are going to the other side. Nats is dead. Yeah, no way out. It was only him that was spotted, and the drone was super close inside the smoke, so there could be other players there, but we see the gate crash again up top. It's on its way over towards the B site. This is going to represent an early rotation, potentially, for the side of Heretics. They've spotted players, so Miniboo immediately comes in to help. And for Liquid, no matter where they go, they'll be running into the brute force of Heretics with pistols in hand, with low HP on Kiko and Yumpy. It seems to be a formality. They will need a miracle to make this one worth. But they could make it costly. The TP to A, well, Tom, the hope here is that they've rotated. And we can see quite plainly that Rienz alongside Benji Fishy are in position.
Yeah, they might not even expect Rienz, because the thing is Benji is firing snake bites just immediately, almost making them assume that there might not be anybody here. They're going to hear the flash go off. They're just running to their death at this stage. Again, any kills they can get would be nice. And well, the ace has been stolen away from Benji right at the end. It would have been a nice way to close out an eco round. And Andaluthia flawless, but the main thing for them, excusing who got the kills, is the fact that they're just going to keep their finances off the chart.
That's it. As we said, damage was a question, but one we didn't expect a favorable answer to come through from Team Liquid. That shock dart did a lot. But at the end of the day, just clean setup. Rienz needed to do barely anything with how quick Benji was on those flicks. The only player that survived his wrath was the one hiding behind a wall. 5-1. Round 7 sees ultimates for Team Liquid. Viper's Pit, Thrash, Showstopper online. That's a lot to work with on the attack, and somehow Miniboo picks up the opening again. In comes the Showstopper. Will it find value to one blast pack left? There's a player in its sights, and Boo goes down.
Yeah, again, leveling things up. Ultimates are in a pretty decent spot for Liquid here. Could use that Viper's Pit, then get into the post bar. Instead, though, Nat's actually the furthest back. So it doesn't look like that ult's going to come into play. He's going to be able to avoid this drone, though. Rienz goes down. A huge pick that makes this much more awkward. It seems like they're also waiting for the secondary flank timing, though. It's going to be everything. If Mystic turns around, he's got a huge opportunity here. So many players just waiting. He's immediately going to take one down, but they're there to trade. Unfortunately, goes for the high HP player. Wanted to get rid of that Thrash. Even still, though, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because Will is just making his name heard.
Well, another little fake out from Team Heretics. Last time we thought Rienz was going to be the big player, and it was Benji. This time, Benji gets a flank on 4, picks up 1 kill, and it's looking like there's a chance for Team Liquid after this disastrous flank. This guy is ridiculous. Even gets blinded at the end. Miniboo desperately trying to get himself a kill, but you can't stop Woot. He's 12-2. And for Team Liquid, call a pause if you want. I don't know what you say about that.
Oh, you might be looking at one of the best ever debuts at the VCT. Like, it truly is just ridiculous. You can see it on Benji's face. I think in his mind, he was probably like, I might have just lost us that round because I didn't get as much as I could have. He got Woot. It genuinely doesn't matter.
You did good.
Odin on the attack side, it's something that not many will try, but Enzo always will. And at this point, you know, everything else hasn't been working, so you might as well give it a go.
Desperate times, Tom. Desperate times, and we're definitely seeing desperate measures. The tag up even onto Enzo. The Odin makes it a bit easy. No way to follow up on it, but they know there's players here. Obviously, with the Viper's Pit down, you're expecting it. There's at least 2 in bat. That's the info they have to work with. 59 seconds on the clock. Mid, pitted off by Team Heretics. Benji has that control, but they don't have the info. That's what Miniboo has got a mask in front of him for. The other dimension calling to him as he'll now go through and clear this pit. 1 spotted, 2, and he's body blocked, but he'll see 3 eventually. The shoot me comes in, but Rienz got to be careful of the decay. Be back out, and this is them cemented in their positions. Now that gate crash going into spawn has been spotted. In fact, you even have Kiko going back to spot it and kill Miniboo when he attempts it. It was a ballsy play, but one that hasn't paid off. They've got 1 less player on the site, and Rienz is 1 HP. He is decayed down and taken easily. Oh, that's an awkward spray, and Benji, he's a genius.
For one.
For 1. He almost got more. I mean, he heard the second player.
Yeah,
I don't know how he suspected it, but then he turns and gets shot in the face. It's, you know, it is what it is.
Well, it looks like this one's going a little bit better for Liquid. being able to isolate some of these players. Woot is feeling confident enough to put the Seekers in. He's going to take down Mystic. This should be an impossible round, and thankfully Nats is going to make sure of it. Doesn't allow anything more. You could see how confident this guy is at the moment, and the Odin spraying through is going to put Liquid with a second round on the board. They committed quite a lot to this one, but it was worth it just to get that over the line.
Well, that's it, yeah, to double up the rounds at the end of the day, Tom. You've got that Odin still in play. That's maybe one of the concerns. You got Miniboo flanked, spotted, and taken down, which is always good to see. The fact that they're able to bypass Benji because he's focused on the site, 2 players coming up behind. But the Odin here, really, this is for spamming. This is for post-plant, for playing through the pit when everybody's on 1 HP.
And 100% of his kills are with Odins. That's exactly what you want, Mitch.
Well, this is it. If anything, this is proof that the Vandal shouldn't be played anymore. Get the Phantom out of the game. This is the only one that you need.
Yeah, if you want to go 1 and 7,
use a Phantom. You go 0 and 7. There you go.
Well, they're back on the board again. They've still got that Odin in play. Operator up for Miniboo. Of course, he's going to have the ability to rotate very quickly back over to the other side of the map, although his TP has just faded outside the A site. You can see this execute being built in. And the late lurk of Nats, it could be problematic. No, he's going to win that fight. Maybe Miniboo facing back. That will be one. And this time now they're starting to shut down these individual plays. Woot tries to make a play through the smoke on his own. And because of that, this round is already over.
Yeah, Heretics have made the call. They're bailing back from the site. A very quick play from the side of Team Liquid. And one that they don't run into any hitches on. Woot and Miniboo, the 2 big dangers, dropped immediately. And Tom, that's not one that we've seen to be a repeatable strategy so far from Team Liquid. They got this in a couple rounds, literally 2 on Sunset. And any of the rounds where they picked off Miniboo, it was an immediate loss handed to them in return.
It also seems like the last few rounds, Woot has gone for God plays in every single round. He's succeeded twice, he's now failed twice. I think Liquid are starting to get aware, like, okay, we just have to watch the smokes, we have to be ready. And they're starting to adapt to some of the risks that are being taken. Even still, though, looking like they should keep 3 weapons alive. Yumpy almost managing to take out Rians, but it isn't to be. And by the looks of it, we might be getting ourselves a pause here for the side of Heretics. I think maybe just not wanting to allow this one to get too far out of control. Make a very early play to catch them as they get into the site rather than waiting for the retake. So it might just be a moment where, like, the coach, Neozinio, is just seeing a few players getting a bit ahead of themselves. You go, okay, let's calm it down. We're in the lead, but we don't want to allow Liquid back into the game because they could definitely turn it. They can definitely turn it back on. It's been a very slow start for them, especially on map 1. But they've definitely got the caliber of players, things can change.
Keep that defensive side set up on B. Yoru's got a clone inside hookah and a TP. Deep flashing as well for information. And the idea here, you fake them out with the decoy, TP in, maybe on the back of double flashes, and that is your control to take. Team Liquid won't be walking into that setup though. They've gone towards the A site. Maybe we'll see that in one of the future rounds on hookah. For now, it's a straight spam through the smoke, taking down Enzo, and leaving them without that Gecko utility for later on. As well as that, the spike will not be planted, the denial coming through as the little guy is now out of the round.
Yeah, the problem is as well, Benji has managed to reclaim Shower's control, so that's something that's going to be fought for. It's whether or not Nats actually predicts him, and that late round could be denied completely. Obviously, you want to have any utility available, although Nats doesn't have much to play with. Benji's position is perfect, and now giving them a further advantage. The aggression, he's completely blind! Just pre-fired while sprinting forward. Eventually traded out, but now it's left all on to Mystic. Needs to go huge, and again, the trades are there for Heretics. And this is the thing, when they get in those advantages, when they get into those retakes, that's where this team have been sublime.
Well, that's it. We saw it on their attack as well on the previous map. It's the ability to group up as a team. Once they get on the same page and approach things together, that's nasty. They don't lose. They haven't been losing. 7-3 right now.
Just can't even see a thing.
And yeah, that's the thing to remember, right? On our broadcast, when a player gets flashed, you see the symbol on your screen, but you can still see. They can't see a damn thing. But he knows the map.
That's when you have confidence in your teammate. Yeah, like, he throws a flash that blinds you completely, and you're like, he blinded the other guy. I'm going to keep going.
He got it. If you can't see me and I can't see you, that's a fair fight. Well, not if you're Woot, I suppose. It's still stacked towards him. Unbelievable debut from this guy. But yeah, it is against the Team Liquid that are showing some issues, showing some signs of falling apart here. And I like it. The same setup again. We said we might get it tested by Team Liquid. And it does look like there's going to be quite a bit of presence thrown towards here just from Kiko. There's the TP, the flashes, and the decoy, but it hasn't got them anything. It's a little bit preemptive. And if anything, a good play from Team Liquid early to rob them of some of that big utility.
Yeah, I definitely like the setup though. With the paranoia, it's very cool. But instead, they're going to try this again. Falling back. Rian's going for some of the same pre-fires into the site and utility to try and clear the backline. Same result, same guy. And it's going to cause them problems of getting into the afterplant. That removes the easier options utility be sending through. This time they're going to isolate Benji though. A good adaptation from the side of Liquid to pick that man off, and Kiko starting to come alive a little bit in this round, but it could very easily fall apart. Even still though, Boo on the other side. A 1v2, he was waiting in case they TP'd. Now he has a long road back into the round.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the rotation. What a play it would have been if they just repositioned, and many teams would. But now Team Liquid hunker down. 2 rounds left to play for, and this one could be so valuable for them.
Yeah.
At least put another on the board. Boo not looking to save this weapon. He wants to get in, get involved, but he's conscious. These players could be absolutely anywhere, and the time is ticking away. Bit by bit, slowly running down. He hopes he can catch them off guard, but as we can see, they're in good position, staring straight at him. And it's Nats to find that kill, putting another on the board for Team Liquid. The gap is now down to 3. It's manageable. They want to close out this last round, put themselves in a good fighting spot for the next half.
Yeah, big round for Kiko especially. Finding them the openers definitely made a big difference to being able to get into the site because they struggled to clear Rians. And I also like the adaptation to isolate Benji. As said, last round, he gets to hold on to Shower's control, takes out Nats. They don't have him alive in the late round, which is where Nats a lot of the time will do his best work. Getting rid of Benji has been a struggle, but they succeeded in that last round. Early pop flash, same fight we saw in the previous, but this time they're going to force them back with utility and actually claim a lot of ground.
Oh, Heretics aren't giving it up, but, well, let's say without a fight, because Rian's has gone down, and now Boo has to second guess sticking around that angle. The rotates begin. And look, I was going to say I expect a gate crash to be left behind. I glance at the hood. Mini Boo has none left. No quick rotations for him. Woot's on his way over. Has Seekers, but he's not going to use them. They've heard the players coming. Oh, the knife. It's delaying some of the utility, leaving them in the open, and Kiko's easily able to punish. Spike plant could be undeniable this time, but I see Woot running around on this side angle. I'm getting worried. He has the info to play with. The wall will keep him locked out for just a moment longer, and the Tiger gives away his position. But they've all ran back. The post plant setup in full effect. The thrash coming through. And that's actually going to delay them a little bit, cause some problems, or pull them into Woot, giving a chance for another kill. Team Heretics, though, in a 2 versus 4, both players in known positions. And Liquid shouldn't be giving this one away. That time already ticking quite quickly. Mini Boo, the last man standing, won't have a chance, and this one will be a 7-5 half, short of a miracle.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no time for them to play with. It will be 7-5. Good resurgence in the end from Liquid. This was a game, again, that looked like it was going to just completely slip away from them. But getting 4 of the last 5 rounds, seeing some of the individuals in the form of Nats wake up, Kiko wake up as well, and ultimately being able to deny Woot from just having an almost flawless half. He's still 16-7, an absurd stat line for someone playing their first match within the VCT. But either way, we now have to see if Liquid can continue that run. Especially with, they struggled, didn't they, in the pistol rounds? I don't think they've won one yet.
I think you could be right, yeah. I think last map, no, actually I'm certain last map was both pistols going towards Heretics, and I think a lot of that blame lands on the shoulders of Woot. This guy has been popping off, what, 2 out of 3 pistol rounds? He's got a 3K so far.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not quiet by any means. 16-7 right now. A chance here to extend that stat line from what we've seen in the past. Team Liquid on the defense, 3 players on B. Your Viper wall is coming into position to block out the retake on B to get you back in on the retake. But the fight has come in. A site, Mini Boo on his way through with the flash, and it's going to be Woot, the first to fall. He is finally dropped in a pistol. The return swings towards Liquid by a narrow margin. The low ammo catches Nats off guard. Boo, Rienz, and Benji Fishy full control over the site, and they're tucked in to play this one together.
Mystic's going to try to isolate some of the angles. Still got Shock Dart available for Rienz. A perfect flash from Young P, but the trade is immediate. However, Enzo's there. The IGL leading by example. They've got themselves their first pistol under their belt. as it will be just one the difference now between them and Heretics.
Well, that's a much better look from this squad. And honestly, it just comes down to kill and move. That's all you need to do. Now, so much more in Enzo running through 14 HP and being able to find both of those kills. That could represent him with a little fire lit under. That was Enzo doubling up on his frags so far. The whole first half concentrated into just one round.
So you should play either an Odin or a Ghost.
I reckon he's got some karma to make up for honestly. Every smoke, just start popping shots through it, because he was domed on the way through a bunch of times with no vision.
Yeah, Rian might have more kills through smoke than he has not through smoke.
That actually might be true.
There we go, though. Expectations for this round for Heretics, very low. And again, any damage they can do could be a problem. Kiko looking a little bit different on the cam.
Looking good, actually. All their players are looking good today.
They are. They're all. You would say you have a crush on all of them.
They're just so beautiful. Every single one. Well, opening shot from Kiko. Almost no reaction in his player cam, but he has managed to find one as Team Heretics close the distance, and apparently you can hip fire this weapon, but it's in the hands of Kiko, you can at least. 3 players survive for Liquid, and the scoreline tied up 7-7.
Yeah, big round from him. Still a few weapons dropped along the way, so not going to be too clean, but enough that they'll still be coming into the next round, and this is where we expect to see a response from the side of Heretics. Rifles available. They've also got that dimensional drift online, which, especially going into the attack side, that's normally where you see the heavy value from it. You can clear a lot of angles for free, and especially when there's weaker weapons, that becomes incredibly important.
Well, off rip, we're going to have an ultimate out of Miniboo by the looks of things, scouting out the A site, where previously you'll see a Brimstone combo with this on the ultimate. You don't have that in this composition. In fact, you don't have that on the server right now. Miniboo's got a lot of space. Finishing out here, he spotted Nats. Nice easy kill, and a huge amount of control on the back of that ultimate. Team Liquid are locked out with Heaven control and a super late flank coming through from Mystic. The man advantage might be even, but the weaponry definitely sits with the attackers for now, and tag onto Enzo. Drop down that little bit lower, easy to finish off. There's some damage done in return. We haven't seen the kills come through, and the wall bang is so good. 26 HP left on Miniboo. A tag onto Boo as well. It's manageable. It's winnable on some level, but with Kiko going down, the odds definitely not in favor of Team Liquid. Mystic, the last man standing, and they'll find one, but the ammo is running dry, as were the chances for Liquid in that round. Lead stays in the hands of Team Heretics.
Yeah, it's the thing with this round that's actually a little bit more annoying is that I understand why Liquid went for it, because it was close. But if they hold for the exits there, I think Heretics are screwed, because you had Mystic on the flank, you had 2 players up above, like basically just holding them in to position. The only safe exit was actually through the showers. So obviously you go for it when you're that close in a position, but they could have done a lot of damage in that scenario, if not for a little bit of unlucky timing with the flash and different things like that. Nonetheless, we're still going to have them on a purchase again. We're going to see ourselves that Outlaw. And already, we're going to see Heretics looking to try and take some early control towards B-Long.
Looks like Liquid are responding in kind. Kiko making a slow play through Bathroom. At the same time, Benji Fishy sneaking his way through A. Got himself a nice position, opening pick onto Yumpy. All these players in Heretics hunkered down long. They've been spotted. I'm surprised Mystic sticking around for that fight. He has support of Enzo, but they've already lost Yumpy on this angle. I think you see them desperately wanting to recover it. Now, we mentioned Kiko lurking up through Bath earlier. Here's his reward, finally found, and found indeed.
They're getting a little bit nervous, getting some flashbacks to the last map. Even still, though, evening things up. Now, they've got really good positions. It just depends if they sort of walk around expecting this to be an A hit, but now with the utility going down, Liquid are actually in a very good spot. A wraparound already coming through from Enzo. They have to run through the snakebite. Miniboo is going to be up for that first fight. He knows that one of them is, and actually Mystic goes down. Nat's now under pressure. He's managed to find one, but it all comes down to this late lurk, this late rotation coming in from Enzo. The first is free. They know exactly where he is, but he also knows the same. Showstopper should be able to make things truly problematic for them getting a plant, but the fact is, look at where Boo is. He's gone.
Crept into the shadows for a plant. And right now, Team Liquid putting together the pieces. There we go. You see Boo try to go towards spawn. And his position here is key. You know Team Liquid are going to group up. He wants to force the fight as they rotate, but they've gone the other way. There'll be some time before he realizes that. It's nice and open at least. He could be in almost any position. Even Bath is a viable spot for this post plant. Not optimal, but something that they have to be worried about, and the time doesn't let them clear everything. There's the info. The first player dropped, and that could turn the tides in their favor. Enzo diffusing halfway already. Is he ready for the Heaven Peak? In fact, he looked like he was going to stick it. He comes off for the fight. That Boo happily obliges. Team Heretics extend their lead up to 2 and show no signs of stopping.
Yeah, I know. A huge Red Bull clutch coming out of the side of Boo as well. Like, this guy, it always seems to be like you put him in late round scenarios where he's able to just focus on his own individual ability and he pops off. And it's been a quieter, like, think back to the first weeks at kickoff. He was probably the best player of anyone in the league. Yeah. It's definitely been a little bit quieter since then. But these are the moments that sort of make big changes in what the match could become, because up until that point, the read from Liquid, fantastic. That late wraparound coming in from Enzo, perfect. The showstopper being used as well because they knew they already had that hookah control. But it does have to be infuriating, because just isolated battles, not expecting him to be in that aggressive position.
We get back into things. 10 seconds till the barriers go up. You can see exactly what I was talking about. Team Liquid don't have the money. They're not going to force buy here. Thrash is online next round. Viper's pick could be there as well. Even if it does come online here, I doubt it's going to be used.
There.
And an aggressive wall used to slow the A push, and they're going to go walking through it on B with the flash, but Woot was ready for that. What a beautiful position, avoiding the flash and catching the players coming through on the other side.
It's a cheeky attempt from Nats, but it hasn't worked out. And again, just the patience of Heretics is what's paying off for them here. Oh, I don't know if he's going to get away with that orb. There was definitely players in a close enough vicinity, but not going to actually be fighting for it. And after they've heard every single player TP, it is no surprise that Heretics are going to go straight into the B site. Knowledge is power, and so is the after plant. They're going to have it comfortably at this point.
Yeah, post plant setup. Not even seeing the orb thrown on the spike. They don't expect Team Liquid to get anywhere near it. Post plant instead is them looking for a couple more orbs. Woot just one away from getting his Seekers online. But you can see Team Liquid don't want to give anything away. The flash will reveal them. Give the information at least. But hunting it down is unlikely. I say that and I'm looking at Woot's body language. He's definitely looking to go forward. Flash in his hand. I wasn't expecting this, but here we go. And he's down just as quickly as he goes into the fight. But that does mean Seekers are online, a price they're willing to pay. A potential retrieved weapon for the side of Team Liquid. But that's even going to go running into the site to try and claim another victim. All three died a spike as intended, and 10-7. The scoreline we expected comes to fruition. This is where Liquid have their chance to start the comeback, and well, after this one, Tom, I don't see them getting another opportunity.
No, you've already got yourself a couple of ultimates available. This way you're going to have the rifles as well, but Heretics also just haven't really been letting things slip. Like, their early halves have been fantastic, their attack sides especially. Like, that's where I look at Woot and go, you got a new player, and maybe your defense can be a little bit more problematic, sure, or some of the setup utility. That hasn't been the case whatsoever. And now, looking like we might see some early aggression. In fact, they're going very quickly.
The flash and the return, though, 3 players through that wall. Liquid can be thankful that they left that angle before the re-aggression came through. Some space taken, but given right back up, and now Heretics look to do some of the same. One player spotted up top, revealed, at least by the information, by the comms, by the pings, and now Miniboo completing the teleport on the back of the flash. Yumpy was ready, but just not quick enough, and that's the story up against a player like Miniboo, hitting shot after shot. In comes the decoy, it's caught one, and then the peek. I thought was about to come through. Miniboo's being very patient in this corner, had to give away his spot eventually, and he will go down for it, but it's still a 3v4. It's still a tough position for Liquid. They need a pick here and now, and there's setups on setups from Team Heretics. Oh! Actually, they've caught both on the way through. Boo now has to have a big play from up top. The spray from Woot is gone, and he'll get more. Of course he will. Should have seen that one coming. With just 35 HP between them, Tom, Heretics survive and put 11-7 on the board.
Honestly, his headshot percentage might be 100.
It's insane.
It might genuinely be 100. Like, it just the way that he's so patient in correcting back to the head. Like, he's not wildly spraying or panicking at any second. Like, again, this is a newly turned 18-year-old playing on the stage here for the first time ever. And he's so comfortable. The second look just corrects his aim. No pressure, no sweat whatsoever. And, well, you can understand the frustration.
I lip-read that. I don't know who else did, but I'll lip-read that one. And I think if I put myself in that seat, exactly the same reaction. What a frustrating way to lose so many of these rounds where you can do the right things, you can get yourself into advantageous setups, you can have these little post-plant plays, and yet still, on the way back in, Team Heretics have to rely on one thing, and it's not their setup. It's not, everything can go wrong. If Woot's still alive, the round is still winnable. This debut has been unbelievable, and just 2 rounds away from having a flawless record within the VCT for good old Woot.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty good, especially after back-to-back losses for Heretics, which I don't think many were expecting after what we saw from them at kickoff. Nonetheless, still got the Viper's Pit. Now, you have to bear in mind, Enzo in that retake did throw out Thrash. So they lost one of their ultimates, didn't save it for the next round because, well, they needed to take a risk. Still going to have weaponry here, but it's not the prettiest picture. And it does seem like there's a world where Heretics actually want to try and challenge into this Viper's Pit. In fact, they're going to throw out one of their own. We've seen this round already.
Yeah, we saw it with the shoe on the other foot. Team Liquid are familiar with this setup already, picking up Brienne's, but now they have to turn and face this pit. The flash is perfect. Yumpy couldn't see a thing. Kiko trying to thread the needle through, and he'll do well for one, but no chance of winning that fight up against Benji. Nats emerging from his pit at just the wrong time from what we can see. Woot is on his way around. He won't spot him. The pit's concealed Nats for a moment, but up top is Miniboo cleanly closing that out, and Woot finally gets his chance to strike. 12-7, a 5-round gap, and that is going to be a tough one for Team Liquid to bridge the gap on almost doubling the rounds flawlessly. Yep. And Team Heretics, they really do not look like there's a lot of weaknesses to exploit.
No, they haven't lost a buy round yet. I think that's what you need to say. Like, when it comes to this side of the map, it's been 5 attack rounds in a row. They've had a different sort of setup for each round, be it using the Viper's Pit in this one to get themselves into position, be it in the previous round using the Dimensional Drift to just give up everyone's information. Every ult they've used has been impactful. On the other side, unfortunately, it seems like it's been the opposite.
Oh, for Team Heretics as well, you know, this win would represent them getting to the league minimum playoffs possible, and playing like this, I'd say goddamn likely. Tiger goes through, won't find too much. Hunter's Fury tagging Yuppie down to 2 with the spams as well. Barely holding on to life while the rest of his team falls. Mystic still has some life left in him though, some HP to play with, but the players are on the way to the other side of the map, and this time it's not stacked up by the defenders. They weren't ready for this, and even this late lurk out of Benji, it's barely a lurk, he's in his own spawn, but he knows there's a player around here, and he's ready to catch them on the rotate. Mystic goes back, but Spike is
spamming on 2 HP!
Miles away, Yumpy's down, and they're separated, they're fragmented, and they'll fall alone. Together they might stand, but they were not united in this round. It's only Mystic 1 versus 4. Guardian in hand, opposite side of the map, Spike to be defused, and, well, he is taking the long way around, and he's just about being heard, I believe.
Yeah, Benji knows.
He knows.
Mystic doesn't really stand a chance. Yeah, I don't even know if he'll check this, it won't matter. Heretics, they have made it with their new player. Finally, they've got themselves their full roster.